Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater, and the last week is kind of crazy. You start thinking about how the Obi-Wan story was coming together. This show, it's still year and a half and some change away from even remotely coming out. At the earliest estimate, has had so much drama surrounding it. I've covered it to the best of my ability, but honestly, who knows what's really going on? Ewan McGregor says that the show is going to be filming in early 2021 and is still on track to come out at the end of the year. And that is right now the best, most official course of information we have. I've seen other people try to claim that Ewan McGregor doesn't know anything, that he's not in the loop, never mind that the show is entirely centered around his character, so he would have to know exactly what's going on in order to work his schedule around things, because that's how Hollywood works. And of course, the same people saying that are the same people that are trying to claim that this is going to be a movie. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with that yet. Anything could change, but still, I just find it to be pretty funny at some of the commentators out there on that particular front. So this is an interesting piece because this popped up yesterday on Reddit from the Star Wars Leaks subreddit. Exclusive Kenobi Disney Plus info coming in from Parker Wiley. Don't know who he is. Don't know if this is true, but I wanted to break it down. I wanted to talk about it because if this is the exclusive information, if this is real, then this would explain what was coming out of the Hollywood Reporter in regards to them not liking the story, because this could have been the full season, at least the overall aspect of the show. And it seems pretty interesting. So it says, hello there. A source close to the writing process for the series, or what it was going to be before the recent changes, has disclosed some information regarding some interesting plot points. So this is what they know. Again, gigantic grain of salt. We don't know anything else, but this is what they're saying. They're saying here that Sharad Het would be recanonized with some changes to his character. Now, I'm not a Legends person, right? I'm not an EU person, so I had to look up who Sharad Het was. Saying here that he was a powerful male human Jedi who lived during the decades of relative peace prior to the invasion of Naboo, a heroic and legendary figure in the pre-Clone Wars Galactic Republic. Het was well known through the ranks of the Jedi Order. He eventually grew weary of his fame, and after a disaster that destroyed his homeworld and literally killed his family, he exiled himself to Tatooine, where he became the warlord of a tribe of Tusken Raiders. He soon sired a son, Asharad Het, and in this period, he continued to lead the Tuskens until the Jedi sent a representative to retrieve him, Ki Adi Mundi. During the war between the Tuskens and the Hutts on Tatooine, Aurora Singh killed Sharad Het, honoring the Jedi's final wish. Mundi took Asharad back to Coruscant as his Padawan. Many decades after Sharad's death, Asharad would fall to the dark side and become the infamous Darth Krayt under the rule of the One Sith. So this is kind of cool. But it does feel like they would have to change the timeline in order to match up with everything coming out of Obi-Wan. They'd have to change the timeline because this is pre-Clone Wars, and Obi-Wan takes place post Empire, or post Clone Wars. So I mean, it's a cool idea to have a former Jedi now be a warlord of Tusken Raiders. But so let's go on. Let's see what's going to be happening here. It says here, Het would go into hiding as a Tusken Raider after Order 66, so they would definitely retcon a lot of his history. The main conflict would be coming from Het sensing Luke and figuring out who he is. He would then seek to kill Luke out of fear that his presence would lure Vader and Palpatine to Tatooine. So what this tells me is that Sharad Het probably, if this is going to be my interpretation, would effectively mean that he would look at Luke Skywalker, he would detect Vader, detect what he is, see into him, and then want to kill him to keep Vader and Palpatine from coming to Tatooine and bringing the war to him. So this would be more of a self-preservation technique from what I can gather. So a very much a self-preservation aspect, which is, not going to lie, that's actually a pretty cool storyline. But it goes on here to say that we find out that Kenobi has been carrying both his and Anakin's lightsaber, which would make a lot of sense considering the end of the movie, where Anakin had the green saber. But if I recall, didn't he have a blue saber? No, he lost that saber, I think, at that point. I forget. It's been a long time since I've seen Revenge of the Sith. But if Obi-Wan is carrying the lightsabers, that works out. That's definitely going to be something that that makes sense because he had Anakin's saber at the beginning of A New Hope, so we know that much. Going on here, it says we find out, or no, as many have reported, the internal conflict would revolve around Obi-Wan's PTSD and depression. And if you think of it like this, right, these two shots here, one from Phantom Menace, one from Revenge of the Sith, obviously taking place over the span of 13 years from each other in time. Yeah, you could see everything that Obi-Wan has uncovered, everything that he's seen, all the times he's been in life and death situations. When you find yourself in the quiet time, when you find yourself in the post-war world, and your thoughts start to creep in and your memories start to come back, and you're no longer living based upon adrenaline and moving moment to moment, you know, you'd have to ask yourself, could a Jedi experience PTSD? Could a Jedi experience regret? And that's obviously something that a lot of people out there would say that wouldn't be happening because they're Jedi Knights. They're trained to not feel that way. That'd be giving into fear. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to the dark side. Fine, I get that. But they're still human-esque. They're still people-esque, right? So, you know, seeing that particular... It's kind of like in a Jedi Fallen Order, for example. In Jedi Fallen Order, there's a whole plot line about PTSD, right? It's about PTSD. It's about guilt. It's about feeling guilty over Order 66 and what they're doing in order to be able to deal with that, right? And how it impacts their lives. And I thought that was such a cool storyline, such a cool little element, because I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, no, yeah, make them relatable. The problem that a lot of people have, I believe, with these types of continuations is that they see these characters as being infallible. They see these characters as being perfect. And when it comes to a point of trying to dive into that nature, to dive into that whole aspect, they start they can't really get their brains there because they just feel that it's such a detriment to the character that they put on this pedestal. And I kind of look at it like we look at our parents. When we look at our parents as kids, our parents are infallible. Our parents are godlike. Our parents are everything. They are our beginning and our end. They are the alpha and they are the omega. But as we grow, we start to see that they're fallible humans, that they have problems, that they have anxieties, that they have dreams and hopes and wishes, all of these things. And then they're just trying to live up to their own expectations as well as their children's expectations. And that can sometimes get messy. And that's life. That's emotion. That is how we are. And I like that in storytelling. I like when they start to deconstruct some of these people that were seen as just pillars of wholesomeness or pillars of goodness, and to see that other side of them, because, you know, there's always going to have that duality, especially in Star Wars, the yin and the yang, the balance. You cannot have one without the other. You cannot have light without the dark, so on and so forth. And that to me is a big factor. It's a big factor involving all this kind of stuff. So I think that's so cool to be dealing with that particular storyline. But I can also see why they'd probably want to cut it out. And then it also says up here the climax would involve Kenobi defeating Het with both of his and Anakin's lightsabers. That would just seem to make the most amount of sense. And then finally, the final scenes are Obi-Wan putting Anakin's saber in the box, not to be reopened until A New Hope, and Obi-Wan watching Luke from a distance. And obviously leading into this shot right here of Luke holding Anakin's lightsaber for the first time and truly discovering that his father was the famed General Skywalker during the Clone Wars, and obviously not knowing that he's Vader just yet, a little bit of time till that happens. So, I mean, that's basically it. That's basically it. That's like the I guess the first Kenobi story in a nutshell. And I like it. I like it quite a bit. I think it's a very interesting concept. But one of the things people have been saying that I've been hearing quite a bit is that there are worries that this thing would be sounding too similar to The Mandalorian, and that The Mandalorian is the reason why they're not going to be, why they decided to go back and change it. They wanted to go back because when you look at the story of The Mandalorian, it kind of seems that way, right? Like Mando, reluctant hero, taking on, protecting a small child, dealing with his past, dealing with other fallout from what other events that have happened. And it can be seen as being something similar. And I can understand that particular mindset. But I also am kind of curious to know what's going to be happening next. Now, this, to me, feels like it could be more of a movie. That this could be more of, if they are going to turn it into a film, what that could be. But until I hear anything specifically coming out of Lucasfilm, of Kathleen Kennedy, or the trades, I'm taking a lot of the other people's scoops with a grain of salt. This is, I would ask that you take this with a grain of salt. If I ever cover a scoop, to take that with a grain of salt, and to treat it as just fun fan fiction until there's confirmation. Anyway, your thoughts, your opinions, let me know down in the comments below. I look forward to reading your thoughts on this one. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Have yourself a great one, guys, and peace out. Hey, thank you very much for watching the video. If you want to keep the conversation going, and if you made it this far, you clearly do, come on in and join the Discord. Link is in the video description. Can't wait to see you there. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.